Started with a small office, expanded. I had 1 staff, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have a capacity of over 35 staff. I was a designer.
So fashion, oh yes, because you had a company called Fashion
Evo, yes, back in the UK. 90% of our clientele is actually through referrals. The PR space discovered me, not me discovering the space. I had a business partner who is still very much my good friend. We had a fallout. I was making money, but I was making, I kid you not, I was buying everything. I was a whole lot. I made the tough decision to walk away, signed off the business. For me, what made it tough is when you
Hi everyone, I'm Izini Zara and you're welcome to the DBIN Podcast, the show where we explore the untold stories of what it really takes to run a business in one of the world's most dynamic markets and Africa's biggest economy. Our guest today is a powerhouse in PR and brand management. She's an accomplished business development expert with over 20 years of experience and an Honorary Doctorate Degree in brand strategy and communication from the prestigious Governing Council of Myles Leadership University. She is also a champion for African fashion, art, and culture through her initiative, Fashion Evo. Please join me in welcoming the amazing Dr. Yetty Ogunnubi. Hi, Dr. Yetty.
Hello.
Welcome to the DBIN Podcast. We are so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about your journey into building the companies and the businesses that you have. Before we talk about them, I just want to know, have you always been this ambitious? Or was there like a moment when it clicked for you and you were like, you know what, I'm going to become this, that, and the third? So,
I think I've always been this ambitious. I remember in secondary school, I went to a boarding house. I was making money. But I was making birthday cards, you know. Obviously, I come from a creative background.
What do you think it was driving you?
I think I wanted, for me, I'm very passionate with what I do. I mean, from, from a young age, I wanted to be a better person, right? I'm one of those people that I'll say I'm a dreamer. Boy dreamer that likes to achieve her dream.
That's a good one. Not the one that just dreams and it stays in the dream realm.
So I'm a dreamer that then actions it. Like, okay, what do I need to do to get to where I want? I actually told my parents I was going to boarding house. It wasn't that
they came up.
No. I went to visit my cousins and I loved it and said, okay, I get to leave the house. And I thought it was going to be fun, but hey, I've always been competitive in school as well, growing up. I always want to be first and stuff like that. So I would say being competitive, I've always been a serious child. I mind my business, but, get the work done. Yeah.
Okay. Take us back to the early days when you were building the YD company.
I actually fell into it. My former life, I say to my former life, I was a designer back in the UK.
Sorry, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of designer? An interior designer?
And the fashion design.
Fashion, oh yes, because you have a company called Fashion
Evo.
Yes, yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yes. So I was a fashion designer. That's not like that?
No, it's not.
Okay. So I was a fashion designer back in the UK. I owned a label called Revolution by Yettys.
Yeah.
And I was everything for the business. I was the designer. I was the marketing person. I was a website designer. I was a whole lot, And then I ended up producing a reality TV show to help fashion designers in the diaspora. Then work with Africa Fashion Week, London. From there, it was I would say, encouragement from now Olori Ronke Yetty Ogunnubi. That encouraged me, like, Yetty, you can do this. Come in. I mean, it was more like she had a belief in me that I could become the communications director based on the things I've done, but not necessarily working within the communication space, right? And she gave me, it took a while for me to take on the opportunity, but I said, you know what? I can do it, right? Then I became communications director for Africa Fashion Week Nigeria, then the UK. And I think the way I carried myself, because like I said, I'm always a passionate person. So I became a project manager just so that the project itself becomes successful. So from there, a lot of people say, I guess people were watching and businesses started approaching me that, oh, can I manage your brand? So that was how Yettys started. And from there, I said, I have to register this business. I know I can do it. And so Yettys started 2016.
Wow.
I moved back to Nigeria 2014.
I like your story because it shows that you were just faithful where you were, like doing what you were doing really well. And the people started to pick up on it. And then one thing led to another and then another. So now, what made you decide to come back to Nigeria? Because you were doing very well, outside the country. So why on earth would you move back?
Okay, I was one of those people that would say, I'm never moving back to Nigeria. But then I started watching the YouTube series by Danny. It had the Yemi Ogunnubi, Reka Goddess, all those people that I actually were the first people I got to work with when I moved back to Nigeria. And for me, it told a story of Lagos in a different light. Because, when you're outside the country, the news that you hear is, oh, they're bombing this place, there's this thing, there's... But the series was amazing that it told the beautiful story of Lagos, or young people doing well, the dramas that comes, and that for me sold Lagos back to me. And I said, you know what, I was going to make that journey back. It was more like I said it in on a month I'm coming back. And I remember clearly I started the journey in October. Was my birthday in November. So I kept telling, I'm going back to Nigeria. Before you know it, they had a surprise send-off party for me. At that moment, I can't but come back to Nigeria. But it was the best decision I made. I don't regret it. I love Nigeria. Nigeria is home. And I think it's a place that has really built me as a person. My person 13 years ago is totally different from the Yetty you see nowadays. I'm like an introvert. I'm still like that, but when it comes to business, I'm a totally different being.
I want to know how Nigeria has changed you, either that's in terms of like leadership or in your work.
Okay, I was a designer in the UK. I was doing well. A couple of friends had spoken to. I said, "Yet you come to Nigeria, you would actually do well." Right? I didn't have a plan. In fact, like you said, I got to the airport. My cousin, my uncle, my nieces, my nephews were crying. I'm like, I have to do this. But that's also because I'm also very in tune with when God speaks to me. Right? I had said to God that, I told you I started the journey in October. I had said to God that if certain things happen, then I know you want me to go. There were temptations, because around that time as well, if you know Drapers, it's a directory for anything lifestyle fashion in the UK. Houses a lot of international lifestyle, like Elle magazines and stuff like that. They had reached out to me in October. They invited me to their office in Bond Street. I would never forget. I got to the office and I saw everything about my website on their screen, right? And they had said to me that they wanted to represent me. I was doing well as a designer, right? I was very artistic in terms of colors, in terms of merging my African roots with the I would say European route, right? And I was really, really, really in that position that, you know what, maybe I should stay. But then I said to them, like, okay, I'm going to Nigeria. I didn't think I was going to stay. I'm going to Nigeria for a couple of months. When I come back, we can have this conversation again. But for me, that would have been one of the things that would have changed my decision to come back to Nigeria. But a lot of other things happened. I knew that, you know what, wherever I go to, I would always succeed, right? So I came back, you know. I'll say the first couple of months, I was living like I was on holiday. I was spending. People reach out, oh,
long time,
let's see, you do dinner, send money. At some point, like 2014 Lagos was a bit tough as well. We had a lot more traffic. I was living in Syria with my godmom. I found it difficult settling. In fact, I would have moments I would cry, like, what am I doing back in this country? But then again, I didn't have a couple of friends that they've never schooled outside this country to be successful. One of them, was a billionaire, and he achieved everything in this country. It's either I, pack and go back or make it work. I had people I could call outside the country that I could fall back on. I'll cry. Well, you've come back. But first night I did was cut everybody off. I actually cut people off for the first 3 years. I have to not have any fallbacks. Any fallbacks and focus and live like, okay, I've never left the country. But I have an advantage. I schooled outside the country. I've lived, I've done businesses. That means I have an edge over a lot of people. So that for me was, I wasn't relying on anyone. And I say it to my my siblings, like, I'm not the only person I owe everything to is God, for his direction and then giving me that, boldness to make certain decisions. And having, when God sets people around you that could actually, help, and make things work.
So you came back with the determination to do PR or just business?
No, I came back to actually
do fashion. Wow.
Yes, I came back to do fashion. I was like, okay, I'll do this. I had a proposal, I'd shared with a couple of friends. I did some shows. I collaborated with Daviva, Daviva Fabric. I'm not sure they're still around now. Did some stuff with Smooth FM. I did some, but for me, with what I was doing as well, it wasn't for the space. It worked when I was in the UK. So other things, I think God always has a plan God has a plan for all of us. It's just getting in tune with it. And I'm open-minded to see opportunities.
Same.
Yeah.
So my second question, how did Nigeria change you from who you were 13 years ago to who you are now?
I think I was a very shy girl growing up. Shy, but also I focused my time on work, right? I could be in this room and not say anything. Even though I'm a people's person, people love me, right? But I'm so very humble. I'm trying to use the right word. I was a mind my business, doing my thing person. If you probably slap me on face, I'll give it to that, right? Very churchy girl. I'm still very, very much a churchy girl. But my countenance has changed. My Nigeria has toughened me. Toughened me in the sense that the economy is not that. It's not for the faint-hearted, especially when you're running business.
Yeah.
In terms of making decisions, sitting on tables with people that you'll think, okay, maybe we're not on the same level, but I'm much more bolder in terms of leadership as well, in terms of decision. And I want more from life. I'm not just for me, for the people around me. So there's more empathy in my life now. As much as I look very easy and calm, I'm not a pushover.
I believe you. To be in your line of work, I believe you.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you say is one of the biggest challenges you face since you started doing business here? Like, what was something that happened and you were just like, oh my goodness, Nigeria?
I think that would be 2020.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people won't know this. They might just think I rebranded. I had a business partner who is still very much my good friend. We're still business partners. And when I set up my business, because, I felt like, okay, it's someone that would be helpful, I'd given a percentage of the business to. We had a fallout based on business decision. To be honest, I was the one giving 100% to the business. And if you then bring somebody in, you want them to align with, your vision and stuff like that. But other things came in, we fell out, and I made a tough decision to walk away.
Why the agency?
It was why the agency. And I'd reached out to a couple of, a couple of trusted friends and one particular client. And I said to him that, okay, this is what is going on. It will mean a lot of things for me if I had to work. I'm like, oh, Yetty, the reason why you're doing business with you is not because of the name. It's because of you.
Yeah.
So if you like, call it whatever you want to. You get up and start again. And that gave me confidence. And during the COVID period, I think if COVID worked in my favor, to be honest, right?
Because it made it seem like, everyone is having a downtime.
Yeah. So I made a bold step to walk away, signed off the business, then started off again. Spoke to my lawyer. I still want the name YD. And thankfully, YD was just available. Before it was YD Limited. Did a lot of rebranding. And I just, told before we rebranded. But also the lesson it taught me is that God has given you that wisdom. Whatever it's me that you think you're holding on to. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And sometimes some doors will close for newer and bigger one to open. So I think that would have been the toughest time, although that year became one of the most amazing year for the business. I'm not a failure. Right? This business is something God has given to me. Like I said, I fell into it. The PR space discovered me, not me discovering the space. So it was, most of the things I did was effortless. And because I'm passionate about what I do, in terms of creativity, in terms of seeing business grow, because I was the business, in terms of fashion designer, I owned that business. So I knew the challenges that a lot of creatives do face within the system. It was more like, yes, I'll start all over again. I'm not one to hold on to things. If I could leave the UK with 20 suitcases, I kid you not, I was buying everything. Oh, I need microwave. And I go back to Lagos and like, ShopRite has microwave. What was wrong with me? So for me, I've learned to not hold on to things. Yes, there might be a time that things need to slow down, I would always get up.
Yeah, I like that. If there's a young person watching this that maybe wants to get into PR, branding, communications, what are the things that they may need to do to maybe one day be sitting where you are?
I think passion is busting. Education is also part of it. Even though I fell into it, I've done a lot of courses, leadership courses, gone to School of Marketing afterwards to just make sure that, I'm in tune with what is going on. But essentially, a lot of people come, looking for a job and thinking it's all glamorous. No, I don't get to enjoy it because my job is to make everybody look good and make the event look so fantastic. So I don't get to enjoy the experience they're having. So they should know that the PR space is a service space. You have to be. I tell people I'm a server. Okay, I want you to look good. Your hair must look good as my client. I'm not going to be the one trying to look better than my client. I'm focused on making sure the event is successful. So it is a tough space, but it's a space that has a lot of reward. I'm always so proud to see the work I've done, or my team or the agency I've done, and to see the success behind it. I think for me, that's reward. So my advice would be, it's a place where you have to be committed. You have to be a server. It's a service role. People have entrusted their brand or they've entrusted themselves to you. So it's your job to make sure they look good, not you looking good. Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Dr. Yetty. There's something you've said quite a number of times as you've been talking, like, oh, I stumbled into it. Oh, I just stumbled into it. So who was your first client and how did you stumble into PR and communications?
My first client was, I would say that my first client was About Wigwe Foundation, a charity owned by the late About Wigwe. So that was the first. That was the one that actually really opened me to doing the underground work and for
the Nigerian market.
A platform called Africa Fashion Week actually really helped me. It gave me the soft landing I needed in Nigeria. When I came back was when it was offered to me. We had worked together in the UK, and then I told you it took me a while before I said yes. It was actually at the moment that we were having a meeting in the UK at the embassy, because I did some work with the UK embassy. She said, "Oh, we're talking about you here, Yetty, please do this thing." I think that was my soft landing for PR. I think they had done only one event in the past, and I didn't know. I've not been back in this country for close to 15 years, right? So it meant that I had to forge new relationships. But the relationship I forged, towards Africa Fashion Week, it's a relationship that I have retained over the years that has helped, the agency. My boss then had seen me work during Africa Fashion Week. 2 or 3 months later, he had sent me a message that saying, "I've been seeing everything you're doing for Africa Fashion Week. Would you come and help me set up my fashion platform?" I said, "Why not?" So from the logo, from everything, the website, the photo shoot, the models, everything.
So it was basically people seeing you walk and coming to you, somebody recommends you from there.
Absolutely.
So like word of mouth.
And that's still the story of YD. 90% of our clientele is actually through referrals.
You never had to pitch to anyone?
No. They will still be the one coming and say, "Okay, do you want this?"
And ask you to submit
a proposal and stuff like that. But it's not, we've never had to say, "Okay, we saw this thing." And I think maybe because, and people would probably say that, "Okay, you're not," for me, I'm also very content, right? I know the level at which I am going, and I'm also servicing a particular set of clientele. We're actually quite busy, but I think it's through the work that you do that, and the relationship that you build. I'm one of those persons that I actually form relationship with all my clients, right? So that way, they know that, okay, I really understand their vision. I'm like an extension to their businesses, right? Most of them actually are the ones that would, "Oh, Yetty is good for this. Whitey is good for this. She has it covered." And that's been the story so far.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Looking back on everything that you have achieved, what would you say is one thing that sets you apart as a businesswoman in this industry and in Nigeria? You've mentioned how you build relationship with your clients. Is that one?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the things that's helped me. I was in conversation with a couple of friends yesterday evening, and she had said, "Yetty, how do you do this?" I'm like, for me, my clients are very important, right? If it's good for them, then it's good for me. It's good for, the longevity of the business. So one thing, I invest so much time with my client relationship. I'm also a good multitasker.
Yeah, I was going to say he was very good at juggling many things.
Yeah. I mean, my team would say that they don't know how I do it. I think those two elements, and also I think for me is culture. The culture of the agency. I'm very big on having my team do things in a certain way that I think it has worked for me, and I would want to imbibe them into I'm not trying to create a mini me sort of, but just to ensure that it is the culture of the agency that they're able to push out there. We're also known as a storyteller. We're very big on newsletters. I think that's one of our strengths. We want to have people that are not necessarily our client that would say that, oh, can they just push stuff on our newsletter, or even some of our colleagues as well do reach out to us as well. So I'm very big on that, and I think that also sets us apart in the setting up. I would say that we're a bit disruptive, but in a creative way. It's not your OTT kind of disruptive, but I think being a creative myself has really helped in helping to position us.
So what would you say to somebody who is maybe wanting to do what you do, but is feeling insecure, or is saying the market is already full, or like, how can I break into the market?
The market is not full. The population in Nigeria is quite enormous. There's a lot of businesses looking for visibility as well. I mean, you don't have to start with the top ones. There are a lot of small businesses that needs that help and support. So I think it's just starting. I started YD, and I have to go back to my business partner. My business partner's garage is BQ. And that's how I started. Started with a small office, expanded. I had one staff, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have a capacity of over 35 staffs. Do you understand? So start with the little you have. Learn, meaning study, engage.
Yeah, you said you like reading books.
I like reading books. And that's because also when you start a career from a place of, I won't say extreme knowledge, then you need to empower yourself to be able to meet the standards, right? So for me, it's important, especially because things are constantly changing. We have AI, we have all these things. How do you stay relevant? It's from a place of knowledge. So you have to empower yourself with skill sets, also knowledge. Knowledge is power.
So what is one lesson you have learned from doing business in Nigeria that you would not have learned anywhere else?
Bargaining.
Oh, bargaining.
Yeah. To know that I can actually bargain for what I want, right? And that spirit of can do a lesson learned in business in Nigeria. But you know what? The last time I went to London, I actually did bargain. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I did.
And you got it for lesser?
I got it for lesser.
And it wasn't a thrift shop?
No, it was actually a shop on central London, Oxford Street.
Okay.
I wanted to get some key rings and all those things, and I'm like, £7 for what? Doing calculation. I told the guy that.
Nigerian calculation.
And I no, guy.
Yeah.
I told him that I want to buy 5 of it, and I'm going to take it at £5. I said, okay. Yeah. I was even trying much more than that. Let's not insult myself. But I think that spirit of the most the person would say is a no. Yeah.
I like that.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so our second question for you is, what legacy do you hope to leave through your business in Nigeria?
I think the legacy I want to see is the legacy of mentorship and giving back. Like, you have to give back. Life is as hard as it is, but you need to also encourage other people. In a year, we have maybe like 6 to 10 interns that go through the agency, and they're all paid internships. So I like building. Anybody that comes to the agency, I don't have the mindset that they will stay. If they stay, fantastic. That means that I'm open to like exposing myself. So for me, it's like the growth of people that I'm able to contribute into their growth. For me, is the legacy.
I really like that, because you did mention how like moving back to Nigeria, doing business here has just taught you to just think more about people. Look, because there's so many people that need help.
Yeah, they do need help.
Yeah, so
I think from afar, one can be a bit judgmental until you come to the space and realize that you're lucky to be who you are. I, for one, I'm a different being in terms that I've been in a society. I've not even about it. From the onset, I've always been very independent. I don't want people to help me and stuff like that. I want to um do what I need to do together. But not everybody has the opportunity. So I'm in a place where I have empathy towards people much more. And if I could help, I would help.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yetty. I really enjoyed speaking with you because even me, I was like, okay, noted. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for joining us for today's episode. As you heard from Dr. Yetty, you have to be comfortable with taking the long road sometimes. Sometimes building a business in Nigeria means being dogged, refusing to give up in the face of difficulties. If you know you're enjoying this episode, make sure you give the video a thumbs up and you subscribe to this channel and you share it with other people who you know would benefit from this conversation that we have had. Until next time, my name is Zara, and I am reminding you to dream big, innovate boldly, and don't forget to do business in Nigeria.